Hey guys, welcome back for another Jedi Journal entry. Today I'm going to talk about the true purpose behind the perceivedly insignificant character of Jar Jar Binks. So one of the things that you commonly hear on the internet with regards to Jar Jar is that he was going to be the true villain of the prequel trilogy, because in a behind-the-scenes section of The Phantom Menace, George Lucas said, Jar Jar is the key to all of this. But while that theory doesn't make a whole lot of sense, Jar Jar is the key to victory in the first movie of the prequel trilogy. Jar Jar is intentionally written to be disregarded as a fool, because that's what the characters in the film are going to do. But it's because of him that the victory is earned. On top of that, the technology to make Jar Jar was being pioneered at that time by George Lucas, and if it didn't work the way he envisioned it, then the character would fall flat and not be believable, and that would affect the film. To understand Jar Jar's role within the story, we first have to go back to the original trilogy, to Yoda and to the Ewoks. If you haven't seen the video Sam Witwer Defends Return of the Jedi, I highly recommend that you do, as he covers a number of excellent points not a lot of people have caught in regards to that movie. Sam Witwer, as some of you will be aware, was the voice and face of Starkiller, and the voice to both Maul and Sidious in various animated Star Wars media. One of the important things he talks about is the use of Ewoks, and their role in the larger story. There's a lot to be said about nature overcoming the conquest of technology, and the empowering narrative of an underdog story, but the Ewoks are a callback to Empire, when Luke meets Yoda. If you want to hear more about the dichotomy of nature and technology in Star Wars, there are a couple of videos I will link at the very end. In Empire, Luke meets this green Muppet in the swamp who's kind of senile and goofy and not at all what Luke was expecting to be the Jedi Master he's looking for. Luke certainly doesn't feel that this creature has any significance or usefulness to his quest to train as a Jedi. But this green Muppet turns out to be the ex-Grand Master of the Jedi Order. There's a lesson in there about paying attention and keeping your mind open, because the thing you disregard can turn out to be very significant and even a necessity to overcome your obstacles. When we meet the Ewoks, the same thing happens with everyone except Luke. Because Luke recognizes the situation from his encounter with Yoda, and as a Jedi now, Luke is more in the moment and aware of his circumstances. Everyone else is confused about the Ewoks and doesn't think much of them, but Luke tells them to just go along with it and remains calm throughout the interaction. When Luke has installed his protocol droid C-3PO as a puppet deity, and the rebels' story is told, the Ewoks discuss among themselves what they are going to do. At the time that the Ewoks are discussing things, the camera cuts to Han and Leia, and they are shown not really understanding what's happening. But then the camera cuts to Luke, and we see that he does know what's happening, and it's because of him that the rebels are made a part of the tribe. The rebels now have made allies with the native population, and these natives are going to be just what they need to save the day. This is a reiteration of the lesson from Yoda in Empire, that the underestimated creature is what is needed to achieve victory. Luke applies the lesson he learned on Dagobah, and then departs to save his father. This same lesson is echoed in The Phantom Menace when Qui-Gon meets Jar Jar. He is shown to be an unintelligent buffoon, and Qui-Gon says that his ability to speak does not make him intelligent, and dismisses him. His behavior is full of humorous and clumsy quirks, and he is generally regarded as a nuisance, even being called a pathetic life form by Obi-Wan Kenobi. But it's because of him that the Jedi are able to secure transportation to Theed to rescue the Queen. He leads the Jedi to the Gungan city, without which they wouldn't have been able to sneak into Theed via submarine. And, not only that, but he is also the key to the final victory during the climax of the film, when he unwittingly slips to Padme that the Gungans have a large army, just as she is contemplating how to save her people. They make contact with the Gungans under Jar Jar's direction, without whom they wouldn't have been able to find the Gungan sacred place, and they make an alliance to defeat the Trade Federation. This mirrors Return of the Jedi, in that the creature that is underestimated is able to provide an army to the good guys. Going deeper into the movies, Jar Jar serves a very specific purpose in Attack of the Clones, when he is manipulated into giving Palpatine emergency powers. When Padme's life is threatened, She has to go into hiding and so leaves her position in the hands of Jar Jar to represent her in the Senate. Padme had been fighting against the Military Creation Act being pushed by the Senate, favoring diplomacy instead of war. Now it would take a special kind of fool to push legislation that would allow the Republic to make an army when the person he is supposed to be standing in for was fighting against the Military Creation Act. But as we have seen in Phantom Menace, Jar Jar is such a fool. Even if his performance is a bit over the top at certain points, the message is clearly received. Jar Jar is supposed to be foolish, so that he is not only viewed as unimportant, but is also foolish enough to be deceived into doing Palpatine's bidding. Attack of the Clones actually mirrors Empire Strikes Back in this way, just as The Phantom Menace mirrors Return of the Jedi. In episodes 1 and 6, the underestimated creature provides an army to the good guys, while in 2 and 5, the underestimated creature helps a Force wielder. In Empire, the creature helps a Jedi, and in Clones, the creature helps a Sith. The fact that the lesson was used to help a villain instead of a hero in Attack of the Clones, I think, is a way of showing that if you aren't paying attention, which we know the Jedi and the Republic weren't, and thus they fell, if you aren't paying attention, then someone who is paying attention can seize an opportunity before you do. Jar Jar was the key to the movie, in the sense that he would only work or be believable if the CGI technology worked well enough, because if he fell flat, then the movie wouldn't be received well. George was once again pioneering filmmaking techniques that, if he hadn't, we would not have a lot of the movies we see today. Jar Jar is intentionally written to be disregarded as a fool, because that's what the characters in the film are going to do. But it's because of him that the victories are earned. Jar Jar plays the same role in the story as both Yoda and the Ewoks, respectively. Jar Jar might not have been a Sith Lord, but he was indeed the key to all of it. Well, this concludes my exploration on Jar Jar Binks. If you enjoyed what I had to say, click the like button down below, subscribe for more of my content, which should be coming soon. If you want to receive notifications of when that will be, hit the little bell icon down below as well so you won't miss the next one. Thank you for sticking around, and I'll see you all next time. May the Force be with you.